So you want to learn how to self-produce your own podcast. I've been doing that for the past 5-ish years now. I've had some successes, some failures, and I'll be compiling that into what I'm considering my top 3 lessons I've learned over the past 5 years of running this podcast. Hopefully you can take some of these lessons and apply them to your own productions, your own podcast you're making. And by the end of this video, I'm going to be telling you what I plan to be doing differently, how I plan to have a different approach, and what you can expect to see from this channel in the future. I'm Joseph. This is Paradizo Films. Let's get into it. So this first lesson I'm calling the hands in too many pies lesson. If you follow me, you might know I have right now 7 different YouTube channels that I have been managing, editing the videos for, filming the videos for, releasing, marketing. I've been doing weekly videos on some of them, sometimes multiple weekly videos on some of them, as well as weekly shorts across all these different channels and all the different social platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. This channel I'm on right now being the only one that surpassed 1,000 subscribers and reached monetization on YouTube, as well as having the largest following on all my other platforms. I think this is an issue that a lot of creative people will have, is where you have an idea for something you want to create it as soon as possible, and you don't want it to mix up in whatever else you're creating, so you create a different channel or a different platform. You're trying too many things, you're creating too many things. For me, I found myself staying up late, working on a bunch of different videos. I was having less time to edit things. I was having less time to prepare for things. I was having less time coming up with ideas. A lot of the time just coming up with ideas on the spot, editing clips very poorly, putting low effort into something. It caused me to realize, what am I really creating all of this content for? Are people actually gaining something from this, or is this just more noise that people are passing on their social media scrolls? Guys like Gary Vee or a lot of these big social influencers right now are telling you, post as much as possible, post 3 times a day, post 20 times a day, post 100 times a day. And that's how you're going to go viral, is by nonstop being on top of the algorithm. But what you have to recognize is that there could also lead to burnout, either the burnout of your account on the algorithm, recognizing your low value posts and then stop promoting your shit, or burnout from your viewers, from your audience. People are just not engaging with it. They're tired of seeing your face. They don't think you're really conveying a message. And I think the biggest of all is burnout of yourself. Eventually, you might get tired of trying such a variety and spending so much time creating such a variety that you never actually take the time to stop and to try and do something that's actually really good. And then maybe over time, when you go from creating one thing that's really good, you can start to have more time that you can spend creating multiple things that are really good. For lesson number 2, I'm calling it listen to the commenters sometimes. I think in general, everyone is aware of the fact that people are most likely going to leave a negative comment or a negative review of something if they had a bad time, versus people leaving a positive review if they had a good time. Like if you went to a restaurant and you had a great meal, unless you're someone who actively posts reviews about it, what are the chances you're actually going to do that? Versus if you go to a restaurant and you have a really bad experience, I think someone will be more likely to post about that than the person who had a good experience. Especially now with content and with social media, people feel more inclined to leave anonymous comments on a post that they didn't like because there's less consequences for them. They'll never have to engage with this person again, and they might feel better about themselves by leaving a negative comment. All that to say, if you see a negative comment, I think that for the most part, you can generally ignore them or just write them off as someone who's just not happy about something else. Saying something like, oh, this sucks, or this is gay, you're a loser, it's adding no productive change to the content. All that being said, if you start seeing the same types of comments coming from people, especially people who you consider to be in your target demographic, then that should start to tell you something about how people are perceiving your content. Comments like, hey, the lighting is bad, the audio sucks, this is uninteresting, you talk too monotone, this is boring, this isn't funny, this isn't interesting, you don't know what you're talking about, you're making shit up. Those are the type of comments you're seeing consistently over time that should start to tell you something. It should start to tell you this isn't connecting with people. Even if you're talking to people in your real life and they're giving you the same feedback, it's too long, I didn't watch it, it's really boring, I tried to watch it, I couldn't get into it, that should tell you there's something off about this. And you can keep writing that off and justifying it for as long as you want, but eventually you're going to keep seeing the same numbers show up for views and likes and comments. That should tell you something about the type of content you're making, that it's just not connecting with people and that people don't like it for whatever reason. And instead of getting mad and just saying, oh, they don't understand, they're not in my target demographic, they don't know what they're talking about, I spent a lot of time on this, figure out what it is that people want. You can keep doing something the same way every single time and expecting eventually one day this will work, but it would be much quicker if you just figure out what it is people don't like about it and try and fix that. And look, if you're in the game of like, look, I don't want to change, I just want to keep doing this, I don't really care what the comments say, then by all means, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, this is what you enjoy, this is is what you like doing. But if you're trying to grow and you're trying to make something that people actually want to engage with, you got to listen to the people who are watching it, take it into consideration, and make the fixes. And this brings me to the final lesson, which I am calling make the thing you want to watch. This might sound like very generic advice, especially if you're doing something like a comedy podcast, you're working on the podcast, you're having fun, you're talking to your friends, you're having fun conversations, you're laughing. Who wouldn't enjoy this, right? You're thinking in your head while you're filming it. But what I would recommend is go to your YouTube search history and scroll through it and see how many videos you're watching a day that are open micer comedian podcasts that are an hour and a half long. It wasn't until I stopped and I thought to myself, would I actually enjoy this? Oh, but what about Come Town? What about Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast? What about Theo Vaughn? What about Joe Rogan? Well, look, we're not any of those guys. As much as you might feel like I'm one of these guys and we're doing what they're doing, why isn't it working for me? They have names. You don't. If a clip goes viral, maybe we'll blow up off of that clip. But there's also comedians who are like C to D tier list comedians who are still struggling to get views on their podcast. So what are you doing that's separating yourself from someone who has an audience or has connection to people who have larger audience? There's guys who have been on Joe Rogan who are still reaching the same amount of views that we're reaching on a weekly basis. And what are we doing that's differently than them? We're certainly not more famous than them. We're not funnier than them. We're not more engaging than them. So what do we think that we can beat them for? As much as it sucks to admit, when I was looking through the type of content that I like, I realized it's not the type of content that I'm making. And sure, you don't always have to make the type of content that you like, but wouldn't it be easier to just make something you know you would enjoy than to keep trying to do something and force it in the hopes that one day someone might like it and someone would share it and it would blow up? So that leads me into where I'm going from here. This channel has been a lot of fun, been very silly. We've been doing a lot. I like doing the podcast with these guys. It's just got to the point I don't know if this is something I want to continue doing forever. There's no drama, there's no beefs, there's no fights, nothing like that. But what I started to realize is I need to start making things that I actually feel passionately towards or feel like I can make entertaining and make things that I actually feel like I want to be able to make. So is this the end of the Boiz podcast? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure we'll still do stuff together. I'm sure we'll still do podcasts at some point in the future. Probably not in the same way that we had been doing it previously. I just think that that type of content is just, it's not working for us, and it's not something that I'm really interested in continuing to try and figure out. As for all the other channels, I'm probably going to just stop posting on them for a while, or at least until I can figure out how to make this channel something. This one obviously being, the only monetized one, the one with the biggest audience, the one with the biggest ability of gaining notoriety. So that's why I'm focusing in on this one. I still plan to be doing interview podcasts with people who I find entertaining or educational. A lot of the content on here is going to start being more topical, as in involved in some sort of topic. This isn't me giving up because the audience or the commenters got to me. This is me pivoting because I'm realizing that what we were doing wasn't working, and I'm trying to figure out what it is that would work. If the majority of the people are telling you that the thing that you're making isn't good, then there probably is some truth behind that. So I want to figure out what I can do that would be good and create that. We will probably maybe continue the Boiz podcast in that sort of format at some point in the future. I just want to hold off on having freeform podcasts for now, focus more on topical videos of things that I'm actually interested in, and more of like educational or more structured content, less half-assing things. I don't want to half-ass a bunch of things anymore. I want to just focus on doing one thing really good. So look, if that's not what you're interested in, if you're not interested in, you check out some of the future videos and you're like, I don't like this, feel free to unsubscribe. Feel free to never talk to me again. That's cool. I respect it. But if you do stick around, I will be eternally grateful of that. I respect the hell out of it, because I promise you, there's going to be a lot of really good and entertaining things coming your way, a lot of fun shit. And if you're new here, I hope you either learned something from this, or you were thinking you were going to be entertained by this somehow, and subscribe and look forward to the future videos I'm going to be making. For all of you who are subscribed, thank you for your subscribership. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next video. Big peace. New Paradizo 2026. New Paradizo time 2026. Optimus roll out.